It's a great day for a great day if that's what you're choosing to invest your time in. Thank you so much for watching, listening, taking what you need, leaving it behind. I am Tracy A. Martin, a hypnotherapist practitioner, life guide intuitive, and lover of life. I welcome you to episode 22. So if you are new to our podcast, Sit in It, please go to YouTube and subscribe to Opening Doors Productions. And just go in, use the law of luminosity, check out whatever it is of whatever episode that stands out to you. There's a reason it doesn't discuss topic, because it's learning to use your intuition to be your guide. And you will always get something from where you are guided to, because your inner guidance always knows what it is that is usually in your own way. So I thank you so much for listening. Here we said, like I said, it's episode 22. I'm very grateful for all of you who have been so dedicated to getting deep in and sitting in the many different ideals or positions that you can look at from an observer or the witness. And many of you that have sent in your questions, whether you've used an alias name or not, you've helped so many people, because your question's not your own. It is a consciousness, and many people are being guided in many ways. That's why they're guided to those words, because they're your words coming out to you. We don't have the right to own anything that's really being said, because it's part of the consciousness. And that's what's so great about moving into the fifth dimension or fourth density plane, where it is the super consciousness that we are all a part of, and we're all grooming it, we're all investing into it, of course, good and not so good. So today, we're going to begin with a question that was asked by a beautiful lady at our love meditation yesterday. And she knew that she answered the question the moment that she basically asked it. And I want to tell you that the moment you actually do speak it out within your heart, you'll know there's a guidance there, because that is your connection to your highest self. And it's to trust that inner self, not your gut, your heart center. That is where infinite intelligence flows through, okay? Because everyone that tells you to trust your gut is usually lying to you. That is where fear, anxiousness, nervousness, overwhelm, all that comes from, is the gut. So if your gut is already having not enough of that microbiome, not enough of that good nutrition, being able to completely absorb what it needs to do, it's not going to absorb it either, because that messenger goes to the brain and signals that something's wrong. And so many of you have completely sabotaged yourself, your ideas, because of fear, which is false evidence appearing real. Many of you who claim to be light workers, or whatever handle you have to give yourself, that have fallen for fear tactics, is because you were using your gut instinct and believed that it was the right thing to do. And all that is a setup for failure through the ego, because the ego mind and the false evidence appearing real, when there is some form of reaction, which is from the reptilian part of our brain, like I've told you in many episodes, fight, flight, or freeze is a unintelligent emotional response, and that they love to keep you in order to force feed you into an information. That is why hypnosis, what I do for a living, why I can see it happening so quickly, because it is a repetitive place that puts you in a place that makes you feel reactive, instead of being able to be the witness, observe how it feels inside from your heart space. Is this love? Is this not love? And then you'll know where you're guided next. And that's why critical thinking is so very, very important, because ignorance is dangerous. It is not bliss at all. And so this beautiful soul, what we're going to talk about a lot today is what is detachment versus attachment? And this beautiful soul, thank you for asking the question, and I love you so much, and all of you listening and watching. She has a beautiful cat that's one of her fur babies, and she had asked the question, is it because I'm attached that it hurts so bad when they leave? And is detaching mean it's not love? It's a loaded question, because many of you have been formed around the broken mind that attachment means that you love something. But attachment to something means you have an expectation from them of what they need to be for you. So let's take this further. So when we can truly be the observer or the witness instead of the player in the play field of it, we're able to make an intelligent decision based around what is the best for this beautiful being that I love. So beautiful, you know, that you did, out of love, made the decision to let your beautiful baby pass on because of the amount of pain that this baby was in. The greatest thing is you asked and he led you to the answer. Every beautiful being, whether it's a plant, an animal, a person, will give you an indication of what they want. And I commend you for that, because many of you become so attached to something that they love that they cannot see that they are causing more harm in many ways. Why is it when someone that you love so much is dying and you do not want them to leave? And it's because you have an expectation of who they needed to be in your life, because you've only known it to be that way. But I'm here to tell you that the art of detachment doesn't mean you cut the tie from them. You detach yourself from whatever outcome. I'm going to say that again. So this beautiful fur baby, you and this beautiful boy chose each other. And it was before this ever happened. Every one of the beautiful beings that are coming into your life are on purpose because of who you are and what it was that you signed up for when you were coming here in this time. What you looked like, where you were coming through, were you a first, second, third child, only child, were you through adoption? This is all exactly on purpose. Just because your birth mom has you as the child does not mean that you're going to have those form of nurturing type parents that were in contract to be able to have you, because they were going to experience what it was like not to have children, only to be able to have this beautiful gift given by a beautiful birth mother that was able to carry you in their womb. So when we detach ourselves from whatever it is between you and another, that is what love truly is. That is love without conditions, or unconditional love. Knowing that minute, moment, lifetime, it is beyond our idea of control, because there is no control. That is a form of tyranny. That is a form of obligation that creates resentment. So when we look at attachment and what the broken mind had you believing, that you were attached to this person because you love them so much, when you go to the root of what that is, and it's actually, I love them so much, I go to fear of losing them. Do you feel what that felt like when I said that? When we love them so much that we give them the freedom to be who they are, because they are the specific, beautiful frequency of love, light that they are, here to ground and be everywhere that they be. And isn't it a grateful place that they are a piece of your life, a part of your story, as you are a part of theirs? And when it is time and that is finished for them and they're ready for the next stage, how can you not be happy for them that they are moving to the next, to the next, to the next? Why do some fur babies run away? Because they were ready for the next experience, whether it was going away to pass, whether it was ending up in another person's home. And to have that calling at that time of who they are and what they're anchoring there because of their idea of their love light that they are, a frequency, a song. And that's what, when we look at an energy of someone, we don't see the human vessel, we see the energetic universe that you are. And what's so great right now that's happening, and there's many intuitives that are starting to realize that they are seeing things very differently than what they did, because we're moving not from first, second density and third density, but into the fourth density. And so when we see auric bands around the outside of someone, it's also the bands inside of them, because inside, outside, as above, so below, as in, throughout is what it is. And you were only able to really read within those first 3 bands of what was going on, or auric fields, or dimensional fields, or rays. And so now that many of you are doing your evolutionary journey, is because you're starting to be able to see things from a different viewpoint. And that's why, for instance, I know when people have booked intuitive guide sessions, they're like, it's so different than any kind of reading I've ever had, because I'm not reading you. And so this is playing into the 4th field, and that is why things become a whole new game changer for you. Because the more that you live as love that you are, which is all you've ever needed to be, is the shining star that you are, you don't have to find your purpose. That was another illusion to keep you trapped outside of yourself. No different than the religion wing, we have the false New Age awakening, which was still keeping you asleep, keeping you in lack. How many that have been caught up in the mind traps, the broken mind traps, that believe in poverty because they have given themselves the belief that money is evil. Money is energy. Money is abundance. In this plane that we call money or currency, that is an exchange of energies. If you do not believe in your worth, you do not believe that you are love. It's plain and simple. Getting back to the basics of love. When we attach ourselves to an outcome, it will be a setup for failure. Any expectation, the way you believe you can control it and how you want it to come, it will never come to you. And what a disaster that is, and what a sad, sad day when you realize the plethora of your team that are working to bring you the grandest abundance and prosperity. But you, in your 3rd dimensional linear timeline, decided you know everything and you want it to come a certain way or not at all. And so you've created this massive boundary, this limitation, this belief, and it can only keep coming to you that way. Again, I'll say to so many of you that no different than injecting yourself with heroin, drinking that alcohol, or taking that toke, or that inhale, or that gummy, or the pills that you're popping, or the shopping that you're doing to feed something that you're missing on, the crazy amount of sex from other people where you're not actually making love, the reading of fantasy novels that completely distort your idea of who a man is, or what you can't even imagine having in your life, because it's so beyond reach for you that it can't be attained, because you can't start right here to get the ball rolling. It is escapism. The more you try to control things, the more out of control you are in your energetic fields. And any of you who read energy or are clairsentient will see why. And it's why many of my clients that come to me saying that they have anxiety, which is a lie, again, because there's no such thing as anxiety. That is just something they want to coin into you to have a belief around that you are broken. It is a feeding or non-understanding of energies that are flowing in your body. That's why almost absolutely everyone I've ever met who is clairsentient, who has the gift of feeling others very deeply, that empathicness in you, the reason you will feel nervousness or overwhelm is because you've been taught to be broken and that something's wrong with you, instead of it's excitement, it's someone else's energy, it's an interaction. That's all it ever is. The moment you take your power back and sit as the observer and the witness to feel it intelligently, and that's why emotional intelligence is so important, then you can tell, is this mine or is this theirs? And then you're able to ground yourself very simply by being able to say, not my monkey, not my circus, because you are not there to heal anyone. What's coming through in our awareness and our awakenings now is to understand that when you call yourself a healer, you are expecting or magnetically throwing out there people who need to be broken to come to you. I'm going to say it again. Everyone who calls themselves a healer believes that everyone coming to you is broken and need healing. The new earth knows that everyone is perfect, whole, and complete. They are not perfectly imperfect. That is broken. They are perfect. And the true definition of perfect is ever expanding perfection. Everything is perfect on purpose, right here, right now, because of you. That's how amazing you are. That is how you are the director. You are the story writer, the actor. You are everything, the producer, everything within this story that you're creating because of where you're investing in. What you do not want, what you do want, and where are you going to play this accountable person to realize that the power you are has the power to destruct or create. So sit in it. This is truly the art of the master of learning to detach yourself from the idea of self and what it believes it needs, instead of knowing that you are perfect, whole completeness. And your purpose is to be here on purpose. It's to show up as the specific, unique you that you are. That beautiful color that you are. That auric expression that when you are breathing deeply and you are calm, it expands so expansively, and everyone around you feels you. And when you're in resistance, especially many of you empaths, you hide so tightly to yourself, and you hide because you're so scared to shine. So again, I'm going to say to you, if you are that beautiful lighthouse that is guiding in lost ships from sea, why are you hiding in the mountains so that no one can find you? Why are you hiding your light? Let's take you deeper. Do you realize by hiding on every sense you are lying, and the dark are winning? They know how magnificent you are. They have played for generations upon generations, timeline, to try to oppress you, to try to break your mindset, your mental body, your emotional body, your physical body, and your spiritual body. And all four have to be in play together for you to totally be in sync. They cannot create without you. false, distorted light cannot create. Only whole, pure light can create, and you are master creators. That's why they know how important you are. That is why you're here, and that is why they are throwing in the mental planes all these ideas that you are buying into through repetition, which is mind trapping or mind programming or brainwashing, however you want to understand it as. So your responsibility is to check in continually. WTF? What the fuck? To catch you here, if that's what it is. What is the feeling, or what is the frequency I'm resonating at? Because you're going to feel it. Now you know. Now you've observed and you're witnessing it. Is this love? What would love do? If this doesn't feel good, it is in lack. Love does not hurt, not ever. Love is ever expanding. It is so fulfilling. It is so joyful. It is orgasmic. It's euphoric. It is calm. It is blissful. It is a place of nothingness where the brand new creation begins from. Lack of love, distorted love hurts because it doesn't have a tangible essence to hold on to. It's like an ever-ending abyss that you're feeling. Do you feel when many people say, and we're going to speak, about the loss of this beautiful fur baby that you had to say goodbye to on this plane, but you're feeling him, and he will come many, many times to you, and when you're sleeping, when you're awake, and you will get out of the peripherals of your eyes, which is where your clairvoyance, which is about seeing others, will always be seen first. You'll see them from the outside peripheral, because that's the third eye. It plays through the third eye there, not here. When we feel that loss, it's because we feel we lost the connection, but we never have. We are connected to them even before they came. That's why you knew the moment that you had some kind of connection, whether it was energetic, where it was by seeing, hearing, feeling them, that there was a feeling of soul resonance, because we stay within our soul families to help support and build each other up and bring to us the triggers or runners that we are as well. When you pass to the other side, many of the most antagonistic souls that came into your life that were karma either playing back to you, so many of your karmic soulmates, compared to the twin type of soul to the divine soul, is where you can feel what it is that you're in to be breaking through forgiveness, through understanding, through allowing and letting it be. And you go to the other side and you give them a high five and like, oh man, did I hate you? Or did I have to become the lowest of the low before I finally connected and realized I had to love me first? So one of the greatest things that you can do to absolutely everyone or everything that brought that amount of catalyst that you believed you needed because of the generations and generations of believing you had to go through hell to get through your heaven, which is a lie. Thank them for bringing to you, the real you, to finally go inside and grab that courage or that strength or that guidance and not know where it came from, to finally realize, I love you, but I love me more. And this is the plight that many of you have been distorted in as well, is knowing that you need to be service to others. But there is a ratio there. If any of you have ever looked into the law of one, and there's many beautiful teachings in there as well. Unfortunately, some of them became distorted from when we have the channel come through. But the basis of it was understanding the 51%, 49%. And what it is that to be what they consider a positive energetic compared to a negative energetic, that you devote 51% of your moment to being service to others and 49% service to self. And this is the plight of the master, because many people give and do not know how to receive. Therefore, you're giving emptiness. When you don't love yourself, you don't know how to love others. It's only an expression or idea limited where you are. So the more, and that's why they say it can only happen within, and I am 100% serious, it can only happen in the silence within, when you finally go into that investigative part of you, that curious part of you, the wanting to discover or uncover or reveal to you. It is in those moments, in the calm, in the quiet, where that's why they've said, that's why bathrooms are so amazing to so many people. And it's funny, many women get very upset with the male because males tend to spend a lot of time in a bathroom. But that's actually a place of reset for them, where they have given themselves permission to not have to do anything in that moment. Unfortunately, many of them bring their phones with them into the bathroom instead of connecting and releasing, and they're just breathing. When we look at when you were in caveman times, let's say, we'll let you have that analogy and that imagination or visual of it, and you're foraging and you're grabbing wood for fire later, and you are foraging to hunt or gather, whether it was berries or whatever animal that you have gotten really good at being able, whether it was fishing, it doesn't matter what it was, but you felt something just before, because the brain will react a tenth of a second before anything really happens, because the actual action is happening before it even comes into play for you on the conscious level. So a tenth of a second before, you suddenly feel all the hair on your body and you go into fight, flight, or freeze, because that is the reaction response that has kept man alive in survival mode for a very, very long time. And the man who evolved was because he could critically think in observation of how his next move could be before it actually happened. And that happens in the repetition of the silence, or the mastery, like the Tao, like the person who does Taekwondo, Tai Chi, any kind of, Qigong, Kung Fu, any Taekwondo, any things like that, is learning mastery of yourself and force, that life force energy. And so a saber-toothed tiger comes out at you and you go to fight, flight, or freeze. You either fight it to the death and you live or you don't. You run, and you run like hell, and you're able to get away from it, or you're not. Or you freeze. And you either pass out, and that was the end of your life, because now you became a meal on purpose for that saber-toothed tiger. Anyway, no matter what, that adrenaline spiked so fast that you were able to react before it actually started happening. Then after that, back then, you would have had a rest, and you would have allowed that adrenaline, or the reaction energy, because of cause and effect, to flow through and ground out. And where they've taken you now in this day and age is to keep you in continual fight, flight, or freeze, and in reaction mode continually, so that it takes from you all of your life force energy. And the less you allow that life force energy to be in that harmonized flow, the weaker you become. And your light becomes dimmer and dimmer and dimmer. Stress is an absolute killer on purpose. They know it. That is why your whole society is ingrained around keeping you in a constant place of false evidence appearing real, which is not real. Danger is real. Fear is a complete illusion. What say you now? And these messages you're getting right here, right now, what say you now in what you are willing to allow, to receive, and become? What are you willing to let go of an idea you believed it had to be, that has held you back from, oh my God, the most beautifulness that all of you are? What is it that you're so attached to that you're realizing you've been a tyrant to or a controller to because you are living in lack? You're in constant fear. When you continually believe that you're going to lose someone, you're going to. And it doesn't necessarily mean to death. Many of you have gone to the place of, now that I have this person, I'm so scared to lose them. What happens if they die? Everyone is going to find their time to leave this plane at some point when their work is done. Is it any of your business? No. Do you even know when you're choosing to leave? Not consciously. Superconsciously, subconsciously, yes. Why do many of you get premonitions and start feeling that there is going to be a loss? Because in that superconsciousness, it is talking to you. What can you do? Can you control it? Can you save anyone? Can you help anyone? Can you fix anyone? You can just love them while they're here. It gets back to the basics of love. The moment you become the observer, you really realize the most amazing beauty they bring to you. That's why so many people, it's not until they've actually lost them, whether they leave on whatever plane of existence, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, but they don't realize until that person's gone how well they had it or how great and what it was that was normal to them that they no longer have. If anything I can say to you today that would be to help raise you into an awareness that is so high frequency in love, is to realize that each and every one of you is so unique, that each interaction you have with another is making love. It is your idea of love and my idea of love. And so I can have the same people in the same room. And what I feel for each one of you, because of our individual interactions, is going to be completely different because of who I am, because of who you are. And we are making love with everyone we connect with. That is what love is. That is the interaction and the connection of our bands, our music, our song, our soul essence, our life force, our words, our touch, our thoughts, our presence are so unique. And when I say to you that when you leave, the whole world changes, it changes on a massive scale because every one of you brought something different to everybody that you were in contact with. And it could only be because of you. So for one moment, I would love you to close your eyes, as long as you're not driving or doing anything or operating machinery. But I would love you to really, really, really get it of why you are so important in everyone's lives. And that beautiful art of detachment creates even more gratitude for every moment, because we do not know in the next moment what's about to happen. Because our life is changing. Every brand new breath we take, it changes. You change. Everyone changes. And we're either playing in our higher fields of love, or we are playing where we are here, or we are playing lower in what isn't love. And it's the art of detachment that takes myself out of the way, that just emanates a resonance of what love is. And that is where my playfield is, and that is where I experience and imagine and enjoy and call forth more of what it is that feels good, or call forth more of what doesn't feel good, because of what emotion that is the key in that thought that drives it home to give us the next creation. You have to realize how precious life is. And did you know that innocence and purity is the highest expression of love? And now that you know that, now you know why they have tried to harm the purest, most innocent, beautiful beings, which are all of the newborns, all the babies, and fur babies of all kinds, because they are fresh, innocent, and pure. And it is a frequency that is beauteous. Now that you know that, you want to become more protective, not because of fear, but because of how important they are, how important you are. And by you acting, breathing, being on purpose, you are teaching them who they're going to become, because they are a sponge taking in all the programming around them of how they're going to play out in this civilization. You see all of them that know they are just receivers, giving and receiving, giving and receiving. Like I said, the analogy of that baby, within 5 minutes, they're happy, they're sad, they pooped and they fall asleep, because they only know to be a tree. Chose to be a tree, and only ever needs to be a tree, and knows it is majestic in its birthright of being that tree, or that dragonfly, or the amoeba, or the droplet of water that is the ocean of all that it is. Did you know, on this beautiful balmy day of stormy, beautiful snow that's blanketing around where we are right now, I have always felt the most peace, even if it's windy or whatever in that beautiful snow. But each snowflake is an individual being of light, and they are playing in harmony together to create this beautiful blanket that you see that is called snow. That is why they are hugging you in their emanation and their light fields. No different than when it's raining. How many of you love to dance or just be outside in the rain, and you want to just feel that rain kissing you as just individual ones? Not all of them, just a few of them select you to love up in that moment. Do you see why it's more playful? Do you see why joy is in the expression and the innocence of just being in that moment and allowing that interaction of what love is? I hope this has helped many of you to sit in many ideas of what attachment is versus detachment. We can always go deeper, but it's great to step one foot at a time into something that is a new idea to many of you to understand why detachment is truly breaking conditions of what love is to you, instead of allowing them unconditionally to be this amazingness, this blueprint of who they are. When you're a parent and you believe that you have the right to control or be authority or tyrants over instead of guiding, that is the biggest statement of lack compared to love. Are you experienced in your life? Absolutely. Do you wish harm on another? No. So as that guide, is it easier to guide through love of what is the basics of what love is? And or do you teach them to live in fear, to be controlled, to not know self because they're caught up in what that tyrant has decided they need to be? Start getting back to the basics of love. It starts with you, and it starts with your children and your partners and significant others, all relationships, of giving them, holding space for them to be, to create in, to breathe in. So I'm hoping that this takes you to places this week that you sit in to understand what you thought detaching from was actually saying goodbye to. Instead of that, the art of detachment means I never had an attached outcome. I just want to love you unconditionally for who you are. That I can ask for what I want. But if you cannot bring that to me, then I know I will know within myself first to give what I need to myself first, and it will magnetically attract others to want to reciprocate that. In no way, shape, or form, when you sign into a relationship, does it say that you have to stay there for life. It is minute, moment, or lifetime. As you start growing inward deeper, you'll understand 100% what love really is to you and what you will no longer tolerate as lack, because it is false. It isn't. That is why I'm going to leave you with these beautiful words to sit in this week, and that the most brilliant, most magnificent, and most dangerous person to know in your life is someone who knows it is what it is.